On May 19, 2026, a Virginia appellate judge wrote 11 words that stopped a megachurch's legal defense cold. Quote, "This court and all other courts in Virginia are surely able to count to 8 without entering a religious thicket." That was Judge Frank K. Friedman of the Virginia Court of Appeals. It was the second time he had reversed the same dismissal. The voting records that could prove or disprove the disenfranchisement of roughly 400 members had never been seen by a court. Until now. McLean Bible Church sits in Vienna, Virginia, 12 miles from the capital. It is one of the most influential evangelical congregations in the Washington, D.C. metro area. Between 8,000 and 10,000 people worship there every week, across campuses in Tysons Corner, Arlington, Loudoun, and Montgomery County. For 37 years, its founding pastor was a man named Lon Solomon. He arrived in 1980 when the congregation had roughly 300 people. When he stepped back in 2017, that congregation had grown to over 13,500 members. It was one of the longest and most celebrated tenures in American evangelical history. His successor was David Platt. Platt had already built a national profile. His 2010 book, Radical, sold millions of copies and made him a household name in evangelical circles. In 2014, at age 36, he was appointed president of the SBC's International Mission Board, the world's largest evangelical mission agency. The youngest person ever to hold that post. On June 2, 2019, President Donald Trump arrived unannounced at McLean Bible Church on a Sunday morning. Platt prayed for him on stage. The moment made national news. In September 2017, McLean Bible Church confirmed Platt as its new senior pastor with a 95% congregational approval vote, a congregation that trusted him completely. What they did not know, and what this episode is about, is what had already been decided on their behalf. To understand what happened at McLean Bible Church, you have to understand one document. A document the congregation never voted on. A document written in 1961. McLean Bible Church was founded in 1961 by 5 families in Northern Virginia. Their constitution contained a clause so important they made it unamendable. Quote, "This church shall not and cannot be affiliated with any denomination." Not should not, cannot. That prohibition was the foundation of the church's identity for 60 years. It is also the clause at the center of everything that follows. What I want to walk you through is a specific mechanism, what investigators and legal filings have called denominational capture by proxy. It works like this. A nominally congregational church, one where the members vote on major decisions, is gradually absorbed into a denomination, not through a vote, through a subsidiary. That subsidiary was called the New City Network. It was incorporated on April 19, 2016. Its director was Clint Clifton, a missionary employed by the SBC's North American Mission Board. Clifton maintained an office inside McLean Bible Church's building. According to plaintiffs, that arrangement directly violated MBC's constitutional prohibition on denominational affiliation. Clifton died in a plane crash in January 2023. He was never deposed. Now meet the key players in this structure. Because the machinery required coordination at multiple levels simultaneously. On the outside, coordinating the SBC's integration into MBC was Kevin Ezell, president of the SBC's North American Mission Board. His NAM invested $640,000 in New City Network church planting projects at MBC. On the inside, the facilitator was Executive Pastor Dale Sutherland. Per documents later obtained in discovery, Sutherland served as Platt's point of contact with NAM in financial negotiations. In April 2016, a full year before Platt's installation, Elder Board Chairman Larry Cooper had formally requested national SBC affiliation through the SBC Executive Committee. The congregation was not informed. Then came August 28, 2017. 1 month before Platt's official installation as senior pastor, Executive Pastor Dale Sutherland and Director of Operations Bill Steele signed a formal partnership application with the Southern Baptist Convention of Virginia on behalf of the church. When discovery subpoenas later sought that document from MBC, the church acknowledged it was unable to produce it. The subpoena then went to the SBC of Virginia. They had it. The congregation voted on Platt's installation 1 month after that application was signed. They voted 95% in favor. According to documents obtained in discovery, they were never told the application existed. The congregation's model, where members vote on major decisions, is called congregationalism. MBC's constitution explicitly built its governance around this model. Electing new elders required a 75% supermajority of active members, and active membership had a specific definition. You had to have not missed 8 consecutive weeks of services. That rule had functioned as routine maintenance for decades, a way to keep the membership rolls current. Then COVID-19 arrived, and everything changed. In the spring of 2021, MBC held its first contested elder election in the church's history. 3 nominees came before the congregation. For that election, according to plaintiff's attorney Rick Boyer, approximately 400 members were reclassified as inactive during a pandemic, when services had been held online for more than a year. Boyer later told WUSA 9, quote, "You don't really need to purge people from the voting lists if you don't think they'll vote the right way. In the context of the church, there is no need for this." And unfortunately, that's what happened. The inactive members who showed up to vote received provisional ballots that would only count if leadership determined they qualified. Leadership also eliminated the secret ballot for the revote. That is, the machinery. Not a theology, a governance mechanism. A neutral rule, selectively enforced, at precisely the moment it was most useful to those in power. And there were receipts. Let's go through them one by one. I have 7, and they get worse as we go. Receipt 1, the SBCV Partnership Application, signed August 28, 2017, by Dale Sutherland and Director of Operations Bill Steele on behalf of McLean Bible Church. When MBC was later subpoenaed for that document in discovery, the church said it was unable to produce it. The document was obtained instead from the SBC of Virginia. Receipt 2, the Ashley Clayton email. Date, March 16, 2021. Ashley Clayton was the Director of Church Affiliation at the SBC Executive Committee. An MBC member named Jeremiah Burke wrote to ask a simple question: was MBC affiliated with the SBC? Clayton's reply, later obtained as a discovery document and cited as reference number MBC_001667, quote, affiliated with the SBC at all 3 levels. All 3 levels: national, state, local. The SBC's own executive committee had just directly contradicted everything Platt had told his congregation. Because for years, Platt had publicly maintained that MBC had only a partnership with the SBC, not an affiliation. That distinction, it turns out, was the SBC's to make, not his. That's 2 receipts. Receipt 3, the money. According to documents obtained in discovery and cited in the Church Reform Initiative documentary, McLean Bible Church contributed over $2 million to SBC entities by the end of 2021. Not one of those contributions was approved by a congregational vote, not one. MBC's official position is that all contributions were budget approved by the Elder Board. The plaintiff's position is that the Elder Board does not have the authority to make that call. The congregation does. Receipt 4, the NAM investment. $640,000, NAM's direct funding of New City Network church planning projects at MBC, cited in a 2022 civil lawsuit as evidence of SBC affiliation. That investigation was reported in detail by the Center for Baptist Leadership in September 2025. The same reporting confirmed that the alleged coordination between Ezel's NAM and MBC was documented in discovery materials. Receipt 5. The Radical Transfer. Platt's outside ministry, Radical, is a separately incorporated organization with annual revenues of approximately $8 million. MBC's own FAQ page on McLeanBible.org acknowledges the following. Quote, "We have given to Radical an average of approximately $58,000 per year over the last 9 years. The church frames those payments as support for ministry projects among unreached people groups. At $58,000 per year over 9 years, that totals approximately $522,000. The Church Reform Initiative documentary alleges the actual total was $650,000. That figure has not been adjudicated in court. Discovery, ordered by the May 2026 ruling, will produce the church's financial records. There is one additional detail about Radical's finances. For a ministry with $8 million in annual revenue, Radical stopped releasing IRS Form 990 filings several years ago. This despite maintaining membership in the Evangelical Council for Financial Accountability, an organization whose membership is supposed to guarantee financial transparency. Receipt 6. A separate lawsuit, filed in December 2021, alleged that MBC elders inappropriately transferred at least $375,000 to SBC entities. According to that suit, as reported by the Christian Post in June 2023, the church also allegedly disciplined members who raised financial questions. Platt and MBC leadership have denied wrongdoing in connection with those allegations. That suit remains in the pre-discovery phase, pending the outcome of Gaskins. Receipt 7. The legal fees. MBC elders disclosed to their own congregation that the church spent $750,000 responding to the combined lawsuits. $750,000 in donor money spent fighting the very congregation whose tithes funded the church. Now let me read you something Platt himself said, on the record, when he left the IMB in 2018. These are his words. Quote, "I hate the politics of the SBC. Some of the lowest points in my leadership have been when I found myself participating in them. Jockeying for position, continual self-promotion, backroom deals followed by spin in the front room. Backroom deals followed by spin in the front room." That statement was reported by Baptist News Global in October 2024, the same month the documentary about MBC's governance was released. And there was one more document from the discovery record, a damning internal note. According to the Church Reform Initiative's documentary, citing internal materials obtained in discovery, Platt expressed concerns nearly 2 months before the 2017 installation vote. The documentary states, quote, "David Platt expressed concerns that if MBC is seen as a non-SBC church, it would be a game changer for him. A game changer for him. He was negotiating the optics of SBC affiliation weeks before the congregation voted on whether to install him." That is what the documentary alleges. 7 receipts. A partnership application MBC couldn't produce. An affiliation email MBC didn't send. $2 million in SBC contributions. $640,000 from NAM. At least $500,000 to Platt's own ministry. A second lawsuit. $750,000 in legal fees. But the receipts were not the whole story. Because this was knowable. There were warning signs, and they were ignored. The first warning sign was Lon Solomon's departure. To the congregation, it looked like a graceful retirement after 37 years. In February 2017, Solomon announced his resignation, citing exhaustion. That was the public account. In December 2024, Solomon provided a written statement to Baptist News Global, the first on-record words he had offered about MBC since leaving. Quote, "I was removed by the elders from all operational involvement at MBC early in 2017 as a part of my separation agreement. Removed, not retired. His own word. Solomon's statement continued, quote, "As part of my separation agreement, I am not at liberty to comment on events at MBC or David Platt. A man who built that church over 37 years is legally prevented from discussing what happened to it. The congregation was never told." The second warning sign came on June 30th, 2021. That night, for the first time in McLean Bible Church's 60-year history, an elder election failed to reach the required 75% supermajority. Nominees Hollingsworth, Burris, and Tucker were rejected. It was an unmistakable institutional signal that a significant portion of the congregation had lost confidence in leadership's direction. 4 days later, on July 4th, 2021, Platt took the pulpit. His response to the failed election was not acknowledgement of the congregation's concern. His response was an accusation. Quote, "A small group of people inside and outside this church coordinated a divisive effort to use disinformation in order to persuade others to vote these men down as part of a broader effort to take control of this church." He said disinformation. He said broader effort. This is what he said about the people who had simply voted no. That July 4th sermon was preached while the disputed revote under new non-secret ballot rules was still 18 days away. The third warning sign came from inside the elder board itself. Mark Gottlieb had recently rotated off after serving as an elder. In July 2021, he wrote a letter to the full elder board. Gottlieb had seen the governance from the inside, and what he wrote was unambiguous. Quote, "We were historically a conservative church, and David is left of center. He's taken our church down paths we never anticipated." In a separate statement, Gottlieb also alleged that Platt had blocked Lon Solomon from ever returning to the MBC pulpit. He called MBC a political, stripped-down version of what it used to be. That letter was never answered, according to Gottlieb. The fourth warning sign: the elimination of secret ballots. Before the July 18th revote, MBC leadership changed the rules. Members would now need to show identification. Non-anonymous ballots would be required, and members on the inactive list would receive only provisional ballots. Under those conditions, the three nominees passed, with approximately 80% of active member votes. Plaintiffs allege the rule changes themselves violated MBC's constitution. 5 days before that revote, on July 15th, 2021, 5 MBC members filed a lawsuit in Fairfax County Circuit Court. Steve Gaskins, Roland Smith, Mike Manfredi, Kevin Elwell, and Adam Jeanted, 5 ordinary church members, not attorneys, not activists, alleging breach of contract. Their theory, argued by attorney Rick Boyer, was that this was not a religious dispute. It was a contract dispute. The church constitution was a contract. It had been breached. MBC's primary legal defense was church autonomy, the First Amendment principle that civil courts cannot interfere in matters of religious governance. It was a strong argument. It did not hold. What happened at McLean Bible Church did not happen in isolation. It followed a documented pattern, one that investigators and court records show has played out at other churches, involving some of the same institutional players. Let me show you 3 cases. 3 different congregations. The same architecture. Case 1. First Baptist Church, Naples, Florida, February 2019. Hayes Wicker had led First Baptist Naples for 27 years, tripling the church's size. In February 2019, he was abruptly dismissed under unproven financial allegations. Before any congregational vote on a replacement, Kevin Ezell, the same NAM president who coordinated MBC's SBC integration, declared a pre-chosen candidate, quote, "blessed by God." Members who pushed back were stripped of membership. They were labeled racist. the same pattern of disenfranchisement alleged at NBC. No lawsuit was filed due to lack of organized opposition. Case 2. Faith Baptist Church in Knightdale, North Carolina, a 350-member non-denominational congregation. A new pastor, Jason Little, connected to then SBC President J.D. Greer and his 12,000-member Summit Church, began centralizing control with loyal deacons. Long-standing ministries were dismantled. Sunday School, Awana, the choir. A merger with Summit Church was framed as a financial necessity. Discovery documents from the resulting lawsuit revealed that an attorney for Summit Church acknowledged the approach carried risk, but noted that Summit had, quote, used it before successfully. Used it before successfully. That case was documented by the same church reform initiative that produced the NBC documentary. Case 3. The cases of Mars Hill Church in Seattle and Harvest Bible Chapel in Chicago, both documented extensively by Christianity Today and journalist Julie Roys. In both cases, elder boards became self-perpetuating, insiders appointing insiders, with no meaningful external check. In both cases, dissenters were systematically labeled divisive or spiritually deficient. The institution's vocabulary was weaponized against the people raising legitimate concerns. At Harvest Bible Chapel, Pastor James McDonald filed a defamation lawsuit against his own critics before ultimately being dismissed. At NBC, the leadership strategy has been identical: claim ecclesiastical immunity from civil court review. The Virginia Court of Appeals has now rejected that ecclesiastical immunity argument twice. Both times, the same judge. Both times, the same ruling. The shared mechanism across all four cases: install connected leadership, use institutional resources to embed the transition, reclassify or expel voting members who resist, then invoke church autonomy doctrine to block legal scrutiny. The difference in the NBC case is that plaintiffs organized, retained counsel, and had a constitution specific enough that a Virginia appellate court found a way to review it without crossing into theological territory. That is a meaningful distinction, and it is rare, which is why what happens next at McLean Bible Church matters beyond its Northern Virginia zip code. So where does this stand today? Let me be honest about that, because the institutional outcome is complicated and the moral clarity and the legal reality do not always point in the same direction. On May 19, 2026, the Virginia Court of Appeals reversed the Fairfax County Circuit Court's dismissal for the second time. Judge Friedman's ruling ordered discovery of voting records, board minutes, and membership reclassification data. That ruling does not constitute a finding of wrongdoing. It means the plaintiffs now get to see the documents. For the first time. David Platt still preaches at McLean Bible Church every Sunday. The three disputed elders, Hollingsworth, Burris, and Tucker, resigned as part of NBC's 2022 plan for lawsuit resolution. They were then re-elected, under rules with neutral observers and anonymous ballots. In 2023, NBC amended its constitution. The 8 consecutive week attendance rule, the exact rule at the center of the lawsuit, was removed. The rule that the appellate court said courts are surely able to count to 8 on was gone before the case ever reached discovery. By end of 2021, NBC's elders voted to end the SBC partnership. By March 2022, NBC was no longer listed in the SBC church directory. The $2 million contributed to SBC entities, per documentary evidence, has not been refunded. In December 2024, NBC's elders released a lawsuit report, framing the entire dispute as a coordinated effort by a small group to, quote, oust David Platt. 2 weeks before that report's release, per Baptist News Global, NBC's PR firm had reached out to a reporter, the pitch timed to preempt the Church Reform Initiative documentary. The firm later admitted the timing was intentional. Radical's 990 filings remain unavailable. The financial questions the May 2026 ruling was designed to answer have not yet been answered. The case is back in Fairfax County Circuit Court. Jeremiah and Laura Burke, the couple who produced the Real David Platt documentary, continue to maintain the Church Reform Initiative website and have said a third documentary is in development. A court win on process does not mean a congregation gets its church back. That distinction is worth sitting with. Before I close, the 5 things this case teaches us to watch for. These are the specific behaviors and mechanisms that the McLean Bible Church case has now documented in court records. 1. Watch how your church handles voting in contested elections. The MBC case turns on leadership eliminating secret ballots mid-dispute. Any church that requires members to put their name on a contested ballot is creating a chilling effect on dissent. 2. Ask where your church's money goes, especially to organizations run by the pastor. If a ministry associated with your pastor has stopped filing Form 990s, that is a serious red flag. 3. Track inactive member rules, especially after a conflict. The allegation at MBC is that an administrative rule was selectively enforced against dissenters during COVID when verifying attendance was impossible. 4. Scrutinize constitutional amendments made while lawsuits are pending. MBC amended its constitution in 2023 during active litigation to remove the very attendance rule at the heart of the case. 5. Follow the denominational money. MBC's constitution prohibited denominational affiliation, yet the church was contributing to SBC entities at all 3 levels, through a subsidiary most members didn't know existed. If your church has a church planting partnership, a network relationship, or a subsidiary that sends money to a denominational entity, find out who approved it, who it benefits, and whether your congregation ever voted on it. The McLean Bible Church case is not over. The documents have not been produced. The financial records have not been reviewed by a court. But for the first time, a court has ordered that they be. The question this case ultimately asks is not about David Platt's theology or his political views, or whether you agree with his approach to ministry. The question is whether the congregation that voted him in with 95% approval had the right to know what had already been decided on their behalf. The First Amendment protects religious freedom. A Virginia court has now said twice that it does not protect against counting to 8. The discovery begins now. Should churches that refuse to open their financial books, especially those whose pastors operate separately incorporated ministries, lose their tax-exempt status? That exemption has stood since 1954. Tell me what you think below. If you want to follow this case as discovery proceeds, I will have updates in the Community tab and a full source document breakdown linked in the description. The Gaskins case file, every appellate ruling, every source document cited in this episode, is linked below. Read it yourself.